Twin Zeros at 4870 North Harlem Avenue in Harwood Heights, Illinois. Check out the full menu at twinzeros.com. Twin Zeros Restaurant in Harwood Heights not only serves traditional gyros, but also has chicken gyro sandwiches. Twin Zeros also serves a variety of sandwiches ranging from cheeseburgers and Vienna beef hot dogs that have recently been inducted into the Vienna Beef Hot Dog Hall of Fame, Italian beef, Italian sausage, and combo sandwiches, to ethnic favorites such as Slovaki and Grecian chicken. Slovaki is shish kebabs, specifically chicken or pork shish kebabs, grilled to perfection, served on a warm pita with tomatoes, onions, and our homemade tzatziki sauce. You can also enjoy barbecue ribs served every day. Twins is open 7 days a week and also delivers locally. Located at 4870 North Harlem Avenue in Harwood Heights, check out the full menu at twinzeros.com. That's twinzeros.com.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws. Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
From the best-selling novel, Jaws, rated PG, maybe too intense for younger children.
Radio, that was the promo from Jaws. 49 years ago this summer, Jaws hit the movie screens and changed the way films are distributed, the way films are made, and it stopped people from swimming in the ocean, I'll tell you that much. So this is Four Corners Radio. I am your host, William Pellerinos, and we're talking about numerous subjects today. The reason we call our show Four Corners is because the four topics that we discuss are arts and entertainment, food and restaurants, diabetic health, as well as legal and crime issues. And I just started transmitting my program here. This is my third episode this summer so far. I transplanted from WCGO, our sister station in Evanston, where I was for 8 years, with a program called Legal Eagles, and I discussed all types of legal issues. But when I was a guest on many other programs, WLS, WGN, and there'd be other topics that would come up. I am a big movie buff, a movie aficionado. I'm a valid reader. And I started talking about some of these, and sometimes we get off topic. So I wanted to create my new program. I wanted 4 topics. But the consensus was to call it Four Corner Radio instead of Four Topics Radio.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with Jaws. And if you haven't read it, this is the book. I just got it off eBay. It makes great summer reading. Jaws is one of my personal favorite films. To me, it's a near perfect movie. The editing is tight. And I remember when I first saw this, I was in 5th grade, and we were talking about it at school. And one of the kids made a prophetic statement, and I'll never forget it. He goes, "The music scared me more than the shark."
Really?
And that's true. If you're a big film buff, it's the music that leads the movie. Jaws would not be Jaws without the dun, 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 dun. Jaws is, to me, a very well-edited, well-acted movie. I think Robert Shaw's Quint should have won an Oscar. He wasn't even nominated. It's a great summer movie. But the thing about Jaws, it's also, to me, it kicks off the summer, and there's a lot of issues besides shark attacks. There was a recent shark attack in San Diego recently where a person was attacked by a shark. I believe he survived it.
Oh, wow.
But nationwide, there's only about 45 shark attacks a year.
Oh, wow.
In which people are attacked by sharks. So it's not that big a health issue as you would think. The biggest problem with the ocean or the lakes or boating is drownings. And that's something I want to get out. In my opinion, nobody should drown. If you follow safety regs, you should not be. We should not be losing people in the lakes and the oceans and the rivers. It's just a terrible way to die. And every year, there's always drownings. I would suggest to parents out there and grandparents, get your kids in swimming classes, especially in the summer now. A lot of summer programs, park districts have swimming classes. In my opinion, every kid should know how to swim. I learned swim when I was young. I also am an ex-Navy man. I was in the Navy, so yeah, I do know how to swim. Mm-hmm. So it's important to me because every year I see on the news someplace that somebody drowned in a swimming pool. A swimming pool. It boggles my mind. I could see you're in the ocean, you get caught in a riptide or a current pulls you under. I understand that. It's very hard to fight the ocean. I've been to Hawaii, I've been to Aruba. The water can be treacherous. But nobody should be drowning in a swimming pool. That's just panic, you know. Everybody should know how to swim. It's my opinion. Get those kids, instead of sending them to some daycare or anything. Let's get them into swimming classes for the summer. That's just my suggestion. Another reason that people drown, and I am a retired policeman, and I handled a few drownings. The ones that I handled, it's unbelievable. Always alcohol involved. Alcohol impairs judgment. Everybody's out there boating and drinking, and it's a big party. Everything's a lot of fun until somebody gets hurt. Mm-hmm. And water safety is very important. I guarantee you this summer, you'll see somewhere in the news that somebody drowned. They send out helicopters and boats and rescue to try to get these people out of the water. But sometimes it's not a rescue mission. When you hear it's changed to search and recovery, that means they're just trying to recover the body. That means the person's gone, especially after a long period of time. So it's a terrible way to die, and it's preventable. That's the thing. So I want to talk about boating safety. Last year, there was a big fad because of TikTok. It was called boat jumping. And somebody put this on TikTok where they're moving boats and people were jumping off moving boats. So I went on WCGO Radio, our sister station, and I did a public service announcement. I warned people, do not jump off a moving boat. It is extremely dangerous. And I didn't want to say the word stupid, but it is stupid. But do not jump off a moving boat. And I understand why these people are doing it. There's always some TikTok fad that people want to imitate. But a lot of these internet fads are dangerous. So in my opinion, do not jump off a moving boat. It's very dangerous. People have broken their necks. And I believe, I don't have my statistics here, but I believe last summer, 4 people died as a result of this boat jumping. You're jumping off a moving boat in a moving water. Your body's going to take a beating, and depending on how you land, it could cause you serious injury and/or death. So, water safety is very important. That's part of my health issue I want to talk today, and we're combining the topics here with arts and entertainment and health. We're going back to Jaws. A lot of libraries have summer reading programs. I decided I bought this off of eBay. It's, if you're watching us on YouTube, I just put it on there. It's 3 books in one. Peter Benchley's Jaws, The Beast, and The Girl of the Sea of Cortez. So off of eBay, I got this for less than $10. It's a used book, but it's a good shape. And I'm rereading Jaws. I read it in 1975 prior to seeing the movie. The book is way different from the movie. I mean, it's still about the shark attacking the town of Amityville, the Quint and Hooper and Chief Brody going out there to kill the shark. But there's so much in the book that was eliminated from the movie for to make it fit in the 2-hour block. And the producer, Richard Zanuck, wanted an A to Z adventure. Simply make it an adventure. Shark attacks town. 3 people go out to kill the shark. It's almost like 2 movies in one. So to me, it's a great movie. It's one of my favorite films. The book is good. The book adds a lot more depth to the characters, and it also takes some twists and turns that weren't in the movie. If you're a book lover, I suggest it. And it's one of my favorite books. I'm rereading it. I like eBay. You know, I order stuff off of Amazon. What about you, Matt? You order eBay?
eBay is as well. I like to collect antiques, old items, vintage items, and eBay is a really cool place to go to where you can find a lot of cool items. So I do agree. I love going on eBay.
I do order stuff off of Amazon, but I'm an eBay guy because I look for older stuff, and I don't care if it's used. You know, it makes me no difference. And if I get it for less than $10, it's a bargain.
Oh, yeah.
But I order books off of eBay all the time. I can't read a book off in those ebooks. It's just too much for my eyes at nighttime. It's easier for me just to read a book, turn the pages, and then if I fall asleep, I just put the bookmark in there and just go into sleepy land. Yeah. So that's my suggestion. Last week I talked about diabetics, and I actually got a text message. And let me put my info out there if you want to contact me on Facebook. I wrote it on this piece of paper. That's my Facebook page. If you're watching on YouTube, if not, it's Pellerino's Police Project. It's on Facebook. You can click on it and send me a message through that. I have a second Facebook page called the DUI Expert because I am a nationally recognized DUI expert. I not only testify in cases, both for the defense and the prosecution, as an expert witness, but I teach classes to attorneys. It's called Continuing Legal Education. The attorneys come sit in my class, and they get credit hours for listening to my presentation. And I'm usually part of numerous presenters on different topics. I'm also the author of the book, DUIs Decoded. It's on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. And that book is my lesson plans and my facts about DUI enforcement. It's from different aspects, what the police officer should be doing, what the breathalyzer operator should be doing, what the prosecutor should be looking for, as well as what the defense attorney should be looking for. So I've broken it down, and that's why I call it Decoded. It's on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. I've also seen it on eBay, but some people really, sometimes they hike up the price on this. Yeah. It's $19.99 on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. If you see on eBay somebody selling it for $35, just ignore that. I don't know why somebody would jack up the price on a used book, but it's important. And I was asked a couple of questions. I started to talk about revocation of driver's license. And there's a difference between a suspension of your driver's license and a revocation. What happens is, if you're arrested for DUI and you have a breathalyzer of 0.08 or more, depending on your history, if you submit it to that test and it's your first offense, you will be suspended for 6 months. If it's not your first offense, you can be suspended up to 3 years. So, if you refuse. So, it's important to understand a suspension has a time limit on there, but a revocation has no time limit. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I start talking, I lose track of time, so let me know when I'm in the 2-minute mark.
Yep.
Matt's producing the show. If you listened to him earlier, he was running the Radio Shopping Network. Great job you did.
Thank you.
So I'm going to talk about this. A revocation, somebody who's second DUI, if you've had second DUI in a lifetime, people don't understand this. It's not within the last 5 years and the last 10 years. But you could have been arrested 40 years ago. If you got convicted of that DUI and you're convicted of a second DUI, it's a Class A misdemeanor. There's no court supervision. It's a revocation of your driving privileges. And a revocation is exactly that. Your driving privileges are revoked. The question would be, how long are they revoked for? Now, that's interesting because what you have to do, you have to hire an attorney and you have to go to Secretary of State because the Secretary of State giveth and taketh away the driver's license. It's up to the discretion of Secretary of State. We do not have a constitutional right to drive. It's a privilege. So the Secretary of State monitors them. So if your driver's license is revoked, you get an attorney. And I had a friend of mine, he was revoked for a second DUI for many years. And I was telling him, Carl, you got to get an attorney to unravel this. You got to get your driver's license back. He ignored me because he was driving around and was not stopped by the police for years. Well, he gets stopped one day. They issued him a ticket. So he calls me, and I sent him to this attorney, Mark Schiblo, S-C-I-B-L-O. He handles a lot of Secretary of State suspension revocations. He's down at the State of Illinois building doing these weekly. This is one part of his practice, as well as being a criminal defense attorney. And he also sells real estate, but does the transactions, not sells real estate, but does real estate transactions as an attorney. So I sent him to Mark Schiblo. Mark Schiblo started the Secretary of State proceedings, but because my friend got convicted of a ticket when he was driving a revoked license, the Secretary of State extended his revocation for 1 year. So he had to wait for the hearings. And then he started the hearings. And that took back and forth. It took a year. By the time it was all said and done, Schiblo got him back his full driving privileges after 14 years. This guy waited 12 years to start those proceedings. You know, he should have started, and I tell everybody, if you have a revoked license and you need your license to get around, you need to get the Secretary of State hearing started. And Mark Schiblo is the guy. His phone number is 773-775-5050. And coincidentally, he's there in the office today. If you have questions, you could go direct to the horse's mouth and ask him. It's 773-775-5050. If your driving privileges are suspended or revoked, give him a call, and he can answer your questions better than I can. I'm just leading the horse to water, and it's up to you to see if you want to move forward. So before we go to commercial break, how many seconds we got left?
We've got about 10.
10 seconds. All right. So, give Mark Schiblo a call. He's there till 3 o'clock today. 773-775-5050. And we're going to go to a quick commercial break.
Every year in Illinois, over 30,000 drivers are arrested for DUI. Due to improper testing procedures, many people end up being wrongfully charged. The book DUIs Decoded cuts right to the chase and tells you how proper DUIs arrests are supposed to be made, from the initial traffic stop to the reasoning behind the field sobriety test, all the myths and facts about taking a breathalyzer, and more. DUIs Decoded is written by nationally recognized DUI expert witness William Polarinos. Available now at Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com.
If you have been charged with driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs in Cook County, DuPage County, or Lake County, Illinois, call the law office of Mark Schiblo at 773-775-5050. That's 773-775-5050. Attorney Mark Schiblo has over 29 years of law experience handling DUI defense, traffic violations, CDL violations, and Secretary of State driver's license reinstatement hearings. All aspects of your case will be examined in order to find evidence that may help your case, especially the statutory summary suspension of your driving privileges. If your breath alcohol concentration level at the time of the DUI arrest is .08 or more, then the summary suspension of your driver's license begins 46 days after the arrest. Time is a crucial factor in challenging the summary suspension of your driver's license. Our law office is located at 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. That's 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. And again, our office phone number is 773-775-5050.
Well, our phone lines are open, and Matt was just chatting with a caller. So our phone lines are 1-847.
931-1410. They were asking about Shop Show.
Yes. So the calls are coming in. If you have a question, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll try to direct you in the right path. One answer I don't give is I don't know. I don't like that answer. Mm-hmm. If I don't know the answer, what I'm going to tell you is I don't know that answer, but I will look into it for you. I'll try to find out. I will make an effort. If it's a medical question, I'll go to a doctor. I pick doctors' brains all the time. I go to a lot of classes. As a matter of fact, I was in a class the other day with Dr. Terry Collins, who's going to be with us on the next segment, and it was a Narcan class. Narcan. And what this is a it's an inhaler which you insert into somebody who has overdosed on drugs, and they're going into cardiac arrest. They're not breathing. It's to get them started up again. It's a spray that you spray into each nostril. When you go to these classes, civilians can go to classes, and I highly recommend that if you have some kind of a restaurant or a coffee shop, that you go to one of these classes, and they give out free Narcan, because people do go into these bathrooms and they use drugs. I know this from my experience as a police officer. I handled a lot of ODs in coffee shops. I don't want to name which ones, but people just go in there and use drugs. You know what? We have to face reality. We have a lot of people that have addictions, and we just don't want to see these people die. We want to get them into rehab and get them into productive lives again. So what I'm going to do on my Facebook page on Pellerino's Police Project, which is Pelarenos, I'm going to post any Narcan classes that are available. I've attended them in Des Plaines. I went to one at Resurrection Hospital in Chicago, and that's where I got my most recent one. Those classes are usually open to the public. Sometimes they're held in public libraries. If I find out about it, I always attend them, because it's always nice to have a refresher course. And the last one, when I was at Resurrection Hospital, I was in the presence of greatness. I was next to doctors and nurses, so I happened to be picking their brains about other medical issues besides overdosing. So it does work out nicely. You get to interact with some medical personnel. When I went to one of the classes at the Des Plaines Library, it was put on by the Des Plaines Police, and I was asking them a few questions, traffic-related questions, because traffic laws are always changing every year, so it's good to be updated. I did get a text last week. The man asked me about diabetic retinopathy. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, retinopathy. And what that is, that's a diabetic eye disease. Damage occurs to the retina due to diabetes. So with that question, I went to my primary care physician the other day, and I happened to ask him, what's this with diabetes in the eyes? And I happen to be going yearly to an ophthalmologist. There's optometrists and there's ophthalmologists. There's a difference. The ophthalmologist checks for the diabetes behind the eye. So I go to a yearly visit. I suggest all diabetics do that. The optometrist is the guy that checks your eyes to figure out your prescription for glasses. I go to him too. But what I found out from my doctor, and don't quote me, you can check with your primary care physician or your ophthalmologist. If you start developing this diabetic eye disease, they can do some corrective laser surgery. I did not know that. I just found that out. I've been a diabetic for over 13 years. And just doing some research, I found out that blindness is the leading cause due to retinopathy for diabetics. So really, we don't want to lose our eyesight. So if you're diabetic, make sure you check with your doctors, get a yearly appointment to be checking for your eyes for diabetes behind the eye, glaucoma, other things that can affect you. It's very important to save your sight.
Yeah, I'm getting some comments on the YouTube side of things.
Oh, we have a comment?
We're getting some comments here. We've got Catherine here saying that she's taken this, you said it's Narcan, correct? Narcan. She took a class a few years ago. Humble reminder, this takes a huge amount of responsibility on the newly learned classmate. A good class, though, as well. It was held at a local church by qualified specialists, both quite familiar with addiction. And we also got another comment here as well. Sonar saying here, I heard that you can get them for free.
Yes. When I attended the classes, they always give me a free one. I'm putting it on the YouTube. This is the most current one. It says on there, not for resale, not for retail distribution. This is simply for use if you're a school administrator, school teacher, you own a coffee shop or restaurant or whatever dealings you have with public. If you're working from home by yourself and you're not an addict, you don't need it. But if you're out there in the public, dealing with the public, you should have my suggestion. You should have one of these and you should attend the class. They're lifesavers. This is something that I do as often as I can. When I go out there and I talk about drug addiction, and I did talk about not my drug addiction, but dealing with drug addiction. As a policeman, I tried to get as many people into rehab as possible. I'm a firm believer in that rehab, if it's drugs or alcohol. And people don't understand, alcohol is a drug too. Mm-hmm. Alcohol is a depressant. People fall into alcoholism so easily. It's unbelievable. They just don't realize how easy it is to become an alcoholic. So I'm a firm believer in rehab. I also believe in that the support groups such as Alcoholics Anonymous. If you or a friend of yours has a problem, I suggest they go to Alcoholics Anonymous because you don't want them relapsing. People need support, and sometimes just a phone call away, you can get moral support, and that really, really helps. People don't understand this, but it's really important. And if you're running into personal problems or you have health issues, you got a health scare. A lot of people are going through this with the diabetes. And two friends of mine this year came down prostate cancer. And they're going through radiation therapy and other therapies. And they were, of course, goes without saying, they're emotionally bummed out. Mm-hmm. So my suggestion to them was, hey, you gotta have a positive mental attitude. You do music therapy. When I was bummed out, whatever issues, I listened to music. Personally, I like the Beach Boys. I like uppity songs. Mm-hmm. If you're bummed out, you really don't want to listen to the blues.
I listen to more upbeat music as well, if I feel like a little sad here and there.
There's something to be said about that. In art therapy, a lot of people are taking art classes, We have a Victoria Elizabeth Art promoting her art classes on our commercials here. She has a lot of students and followings, watercolor classes, whatever type of therapy can get your mind off the issues that you have that are really bumming you out. I agree with it. If it works for you, it's great. Listen to music, do painting, whatever gets you going. And I agree with people got to have a positive mental attitude, because if you think you're defeated, you will be defeated. Right. It's just like I'm an ex-Navy man in the military. We never give up. Even when the odds are against you, never give up. No matter what the problem is. If the boat is sinking, plug it up. Mm-hmm. Never give up. You know what I'm saying? If the enemy's coming at you, keep at them. You never give up. And you know what? I want to mention real quickly, the other day was June 6th. It was the anniversary of D-Day when they landed on the shores of Normandy. We lost 7,000 soldiers on those landings, and I think a total of 10,000 during the whole battle in France. And I happened to join the American Legion. After all these years, I'm a veteran. I just finally latched on to have some time with the American Legion. And they are veterans too. And I was talking to a Vietnam veteran the other day. You know what? Let's respect our veterans. What he went through, the horror stories, in just the hour that he was telling me, it's unbelievable. So I salute all veterans. I thank you for what you're doing. Those that have served, and don't forget those that are currently serving. Mm-hmm. I'm a pro-veteran person. I'm a pro-military. It's a hard job. It's an underpaying job. Take a look what the pay is to start. It doesn't pay a lot, but there are dedicated Americans out there who are joining the service. We have joined the service. And I'm going to make a little point there. You don't have to be an American citizen to join the military. You don't have to be. Okay. You can be an immigrant here in a green card. You can join the military. People don't understand that. I immigrated from Canada when I was a small child. My parents were immigrants. I was an immigrant. We went through the whole green card process. And before I joined the Navy, I wanted to be naturalized. So it took me like a year and a half to get that from start to finish. And that was fast back then. I became naturalized, and then 2 weeks later, I was in the Navy. So it was important to me to become a naturalized American. People don't understand the importance of serving in the military. It's if you have done it, thank you. Those that are doing it, thank you. And if you have family members out there serving, I thank them. So how much time we got left?
Got 3 minutes.
We got 3 minutes. I want to get to the next topic today. We've talked about arts and entertainment. We've talked about Jaws. We've talked about books. We've talked about diabetic retinopathy. Go to your primary care physician, your ophthalmologist. I also suggest if you're diabetic, start going to podiatrist. You cannot afford damage to your legs. I had two acquaintances. One was my neighbor. He ended up stubbing his toe. And it wouldn't heal. It wouldn't heal. You went to the wound clinic, tried to heal it. But at the time it was all said and done, they amputated below the knee. You cannot have damage to your legs. You have to be really careful as a diabetic. So I always go to the podiatrist every 9 weeks. I have them check my legs for circulation, other diabetes-related problems, and I also have them cut my nails. I don't take a chance with clipping some of the flesh when I'm doing that. The podiatrist will take care of your feet. I'm a high believer in medical services. People who have health insurance, start using them, especially if you're diabetic. I have a June 18th appointment with my podiatrist. I'm going to ask her if she'd be kind enough to come on the show. It's good to get a couple of doctors on these programs to give their medical 2 cents into them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if you're diabetic or your family members are diabetic, make sure they constantly monitor with the medical establishment. So with that being said, how much time we got before quick commercial?
Got about a minute.
We got about a minute. You can find me on Facebook at Pellerino's Police Project or the DUI Expert. I also have a Twitter page. It's at Police Project 1. I've been on Twitter a long time. I like Twitter because it's only 160 characters. You got to get to the point real fast. And I link up to pages that are important to me. I try to get the message out as far as legal issues and everything else that I think is important. So follow me on Twitter. We're going to come back with Dr. Terry Collins from the McCaff Association, and she's going to be talking about the dangers of vaping, especially by our teenagers. So when we stay with us, we got a couple quick commercials, and we'll be right back with Dr. Terry Collins.
Twin Zeros at 4870 North Harlem Avenue in Harwood Heights, Illinois. Check out the full menu at twinzeros.com. Twin Zeros Restaurant in Harwood Heights not only serves traditional gyros, but also has chicken gyro sandwiches. Twin Zeros also serves a variety of sandwiches ranging from cheeseburgers and Vienna beef hot dogs that have recently been inducted into the Vienna Beef Hot Dog Hall of Fame, Italian beef, Italian sausage, and combo sandwiches. To ethnic favorites such as Slovaki and Grecian chicken. Slovaki is shish kebabs, specifically chicken or pork shish kebabs, grilled to perfection, served on a warm pita with tomatoes, onions, and our homemade tzatziki sauce. You can also enjoy barbecue ribs served every day. Twins is open 7 days a week and also delivers locally. Located at 4870 North Harlem Avenue in Harwood Heights. Check out the full menu at twinzeros.com. That's twinzeros.com.
Real estate, be it residential or commercial, is often a person's most significant and priciest asset. Entering into a contract to buy or sell a real estate property is much more than just filling in the missing blanks on the printed contract. It's wise to hire a lawyer to prepare or review the offer to purchase real estate and take full advantage of his legal expertise. With Mark Sheblo, you will gain an attorney with over 26 years of legal practice and one who has helped thousands of clients to buy or sell their homes or investment property. We will safeguard your interests and might be able to even negotiate a better bargain than a client without proper legal counsel ever could. Oftentimes, a prospective buyer will submit an offer without first consulting an attorney, not realizing that once the offer is accepted by the seller, it becomes a binding contract. And the terms of that contract are not easy to be changed afterwards. Likewise, as a seller, you too will benefit from first consulting an attorney before signing. Feel free to call us for consultation at the law offices of Mark Sheblo at 773-775-5050. Our website is sheblolawoffice.com. Mark Sheblo can be reached 6 days a week at 773-775-5050, Monday through Saturday, located at 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. That's attorney Mark Sheblo, 773-775-5050.
Welcome back to Four Corners Radio. I am your host, William Pellerinos, and if you're just joining us, we're switching corners today, and we're going to go to the health corner. And with us is a guest, a friend of the broadcast here. She's Dr. Terry Collins. She's retired. She used to be head of the Maine Community Youth Assistance Foundation, which was a non-for-profit charity that focused on keeping kids off drug and alcohol addiction. Welcome to the show, Doc.
Thank you, Bill. It's nice to be back. Thank you very much.
The Doc here used to be on our show at Legal Eagles, which we were broadcasting for 8 years out of WCGO in Evanston, Illinois. And now that we've converted to the WRMN network, she decided to drop by and pay us a visit. And we're going to talk about health issues today. And one of the health issues you've been doing, you still do seminars that are at libraries and for public service. One of them recently, a few months back, was in Des Plaines Public Library, was about vaping, correct?
Yeah, actually, it was over at Park Ridge Public Library. But, yeah, and we did it with our student group, which was Boost from Maine South High School, which is an anti-drug group from Maine South High School. And we had Officer Carlos Panizo from the Park Ridge Police Department and John Palicki, who is a behavioral interventionist in Melrose Park for their middle school district. So we had a interesting, we had our group of people, and we were talking about drugs and alcohol, but mainly vaping, because that is a huge temptation for teens now. And I believe that we're selling them the wrong bill of goods when it comes to this. I feel like society is really telling people that, vaping's better than cigarettes, better than smoking. So, go for it. And I think that's a tremendous disservice.
Yes. The issue here is not people vaping, it's these young kids vaping. Their lungs are still developing. We're talking about they're vaping as young as 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old.
Absolutely. I mean, middle school, middle school is what, typically 6th, 7th, and 8th. There are kids that are in 5th grade that are bringing stuff in and saying, hey, what's this good for? And that's what I'm saying. I think society is not doing a good enough job to tell them across the board, adults and kids, that vaping is probably not so good for you.
Anything that you take into your body can cause an ill effect. Everybody's got a vice. We've talked about alcohol addiction, and we'll get into that in another program. Of course, drug addiction. But smoking, I was a smoker, regular cigarettes. I was a smoker for about 7 years. And by the time I quit smoking, I had been up to 3.5 packs a day. You need more and more and more, just like anything else, just like with alcohol. People start drinking and then they drink more and more and more until they become addicted to it. Smoking is an addiction. Obviously, vaping has its addiction issues also, as well as health issues.
Well, across addiction is a health issue, first of all. But, excuse me. The thing is with kids, sometimes people think kids can't get addicted, but they can and very well be addicted. There was a kid who, in one of my classes was saying, God, I wake up every day, I got a headache and I'm tired and I just don't feel like doing anything. And I asked him, I said, well, what's different? He goes, well, I've been vaping. And I'm thinking to myself, I said to go see your primary care physician to make sure. But, I'm thinking to myself that, it's a very high likelihood that you're addicted to nicotine. And if you're addicted to nicotine and not getting it every day, you get headaches, you get nausea, you get all of the things that you get, all the symptoms that you get when you're not, taking the drug that you're addicted to. And I think anybody who's been off of cigarettes for a day, who's addicted to cigarettes or tobacco or nicotine, nicotine is the active ingredient that people are addicted to from vaping and tobacco. And it's a very powerful drug. People think, oh, it's just a cigarette. No, nicotine is a very powerful drug. 10 milligrams of that can kill you. And certainly 5 milligrams, I think, can kill a small pet or a small child. So nicotine is not only just addictive, it's lethal. And it's something that, if you think about even back to the 70s, when people were, I think people were always smoking constantly. I don't know if you remember that, but, the whole idea of being on a plane and being, I always laughed at this. Here's your non-smoking section of the plane, and right next to it is the smoking section of the plane. So what the heck, Remember those days? Remember
Yes.
the days of restaurants? Here you sit back to back, non-smoking, smoking. There's no glass or anything to protect you. Anyway,
Well, by law, back they had to
right.
separate it. But the original concept, the spirit of the law was that they'd have a better ventilation on the smoking side. But all restaurants did was just divide it in half. Here, you guys sit there, we sit there.
And I always used to think, oh, this is interesting. But the whole idea of people trying to quit smoking, God, that in itself has been big business for a long time. And that should tell us something right there. It's hard to quit smoking.
You're telling me?
My husband was a 3-pack-a-day smoker too. And what got him? When the doctor came in and said, you have cancer, and if you don't quit smoking, you're going to die. Next day, didn't smoke.
Went cold turkey.
Yep.
I quit on October 10th, 1985, and I went cold turkey too, but not because of any health issues. I was very young, and I happened to be watching commercials, and Yul Brynner was on there, and he had made a public service announcement. And for some of you younger listeners who don't know who Yul Brynner is, he was a very famous actor, Academy Award winner. His big claim to fame was The King and I, but he was also in the original Westworld, played the robot, in The Magnificent Seven. So Yul Brynner was on there, and he was one of my favorite actors, and he had just passed away, which I didn't know. And he made a public service announcement, and in it they said, Mr. Brynner, you've won several Academy Awards. You have multiple grandchildren. You've got several homes in several countries. If you could wish for anything, what would you wish for? And he said, I wish I could take back all those years of smoking. And then they cut to his funeral. And I really thought about it. I said, you know what? Maybe I should try quit smoking. And I put that cigarette down, and I got busy. I tried to make myself busy. I was changing locks in my home. 2-3 hours went by, then several hours. The first 3 days was the hardest. I think it's with any addiction. The first 3 days is the hardest. But once I got through that first 3 days, I haven't smoked since 1985.
Wow.
And I went cold turkey at 3.5 packs a day. Incredible. So it can be done.
Yeah, it can be done. And it's unfortunate that we're putting our kids in the position to have to do this.
Yes. But wasn't it a couple years ago something, some of those companies, I don't want to get quoted here, but weren't they accused of targeting the vaping to the younger audience? Wasn't there like a scandal or something like that?
Yeah, Juul, Juul, the Juul company, not Juul Tea Company, Juul,
Yeah,
Juul.
Juul was the
vaping company.
Yeah.
They were a brand of Altria, which is, I think, Philip Morris, if you think about it. But anyway, Juul was targeting, and they were accused of it, and they settled with schools. They actually settled with a financial payment to some high schools for doing that.
Yeah, so there was some issue. But you know what? I think a lot of it on social media with these young kids was that vaping is much safer than smoking. There was some kind of internet rumors or publicity and that's actually not true. I don't think, you take anything, you inhale anything in your body, you're going to have some kind of an adverse effect down the road at least. So with that being said, Doc, thanks. We'll have you back next week on the show on our
great.
Health Corner. Come on back. I want you. I want to get this information out as much as possible. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay with us right here on Four Corners Radio on WRMN.
Are you looking for a way to be creative right now? Have you ever wanted to learn to watercolor paint? You can now do that from the comfort of your own home with Zoom watercolor classes. Get professional instruction from nationally showing artist Victoria Elizabeth. These classes are step-by-step, broken down with easy-to-understand instructions. They're affordable, too, at $15 for a 2-hour class. Visit her website at victoriaelizabethart.com to find out more. That's victoriaelizabethart.com.
Is your Illinois driver's license suspended? Your driving privileges are important to your livelihood. You need your driver's license to drive to work, get the kids to school, or go shopping. Your driving privileges are crucial for your lifestyle. If your driver's license is suspended, call attorney Mark Sheblo at 773-775-5050 to begin procedures to have your driver's license reinstated by the Illinois Secretary of State's office. That phone number for Mark Sheblo is 773-775-5050. Mark Sheblo is an attorney with over 29 years of experience. Call him today at 773-775-5050. Visit his website at SheblowLawOffice.com. That's SCIBLO lawoffice.com.
We are back. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the conversation on vaping with Dr. Collins. And while that was going on, I did get a text message about our earlier discussion about DUI suspensions and revocation of driver's licenses. I did mention that I teach classes to attorneys reference DUI arrests and DUI detection. I've had over 288 attorneys attend my classes last year. And one of those attorneys is one of the few attorneys I know that's open on Saturdays. His name is Mark Sheblo, SCIBLO. He is in there today in his office, and I mentioned I was going to talk about this, and he said feel free to call him if you have questions. He'll gladly answer them. He'll answer your phone questions at no charge. It's 773-775-5050. That's 773-775-5050. His address is at 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. It's about a mile away from Superdog. If you ever eaten at Superdog, Matt, have you eaten at Superdog?
I have. It's good.
Yes. It's. We talked about hot dogs last week, and Jimmy the Greek from Twin Zeros was here, and he was talking about the different types of requests, the hot dogs he gets. And it doesn't have to be on the menu. If it's not a busy rush hour like lunchtime, they'll create anything you want. Mm-hmm. We were talking about Reuben dogs, a combo of a Reuben sandwich and a hot dog. And after we got done, I was so hungry, I was looking for a hot dog, but I couldn't see any hot dog places around here. So we ended up eating at Fogo de Chao.
I've never heard of them.
You never heard of Fogo de Chao? Mm-hmm. Brazilian steakhouse?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I've never heard of them.
We were heading back to the city. We got off at Rosemont. Now, there's a couple of them, but I tend the Rosemont one. And Rosemont, the Fogo de Chao, I have been out there on Sunday nights religiously ever since Super Bowl Sunday. So I'm a Sunday night regular there. I try to go there. And a big shout out to some of the servers, Jasmine and Chad and Bray. And they are just so kind to me. Once you become a regular at any restaurant, they recognize you. And it's just not serving you food. I mean, the food's delicious. Mm-hmm. But it's the service that you get, service with a smile. You know, how are you doing? You know, it's a busy job. And that place is busy. The whole trick to these Brazilian steakhouses, especially the Fogo de Chao, is I don't go there on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
They are packed. I heard on Mother's Day, from the time they opened to the time they closed, they served 3,000 people.
Oh, wow. We got about 20 seconds left.
Huh? 2 minutes?
20 seconds.
20 seconds?
Yeah, as I did the 3, sorry.
All right, so follow us on Facebook at Pellerino's Police Project. Feel free to text me at 708-793-3980. Feel free to text me any questions you got. Follow me on Twitter at Police Project 1, and catch you next Saturday at noon.
Professional instruction from nationally showing artist Victoria Elizabeth.